Alright everyone, I just finished reading Attack on Titan Volume 3. I went ahead and took a shower. I wanted to clean up my house a little bit before I actually made any reviews, because I think it's been getting pretty terrible. It looks better already, for the record, just a little bit. But I'm Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, and this is my review of Attack on Titan Volume 3. Please check out my books at blackcatbooks.org. I really need to remember to keep talking about the fucking website. But anyway, Attack on Titan Volume 3 covers the bit from the Trost arc where Eren first transforms into a Titan and is struggling with what that means. People start distrusting him. He's held at gunpoint by members of the military. Armin proves his worth, standing up for him. Mikasa is dead set on protecting Eren at all costs. It is incredibly engaging, emotional stuff. I think this is one of those moments in anime manga where like it really comes off as if like Eren, Mikasa, and Armin are like the holy trinity of this entire thing. Just like Harry, Ron, and Hermione, these guys have gone on to establish themselves as a really iconic, engaging trio of characters. Armin with his brilliance, his aptitude for strategy and making the best of a bad situation. Eren, his determination, his recklessness, his willingness to get into bad situations for the greater good, his inability to grasp with what he's become. Mikasa, who's incredibly emotional young girl, heavily in love with Eren, wants to protect him at all costs, and will do anything to protect him, even if it means standing against the establishment, the people that are the military corps, the people who want to perhaps execute Eren due to being a Titan. And I remember when like I first saw this sequence, I felt it was a little contrived. Out of like the entire like early part of Attack on Titan, I felt like this was like the most contrived aspect of the entire thing. The whole like turning people into Titans thing. For me, and a lot of other people, like I remember seeing a lot of Reddit comments about this. For a lot of people, this was like, completely unbelievable, completely ridiculous, completely out of nowhere, and handled really, really poorly in the eyes of a lot of people who had been reading it for the first time. But I think in hindsight, like upon rereading it again and again, like understanding more of the plot, it really, really, really does make a little bit more sense. This might be like something I talk about later when like I find out more about the origins of the Titans, because like I actually haven't watched anything of the anime past season 2. I really need to get back on that. But people have always been Titans, right? They're basically just mindless humans wandering like the landscape apparently, and there are like sleeper agents like from another city or some shit like that. From what I understand, of course I don't know like everything about the plot, but that I haven't spoiled to death on Attack on Titan. But like it's such an original concept, it's such like a well executed idea that like being spoiled on Attack on Titan doesn't really give you a lot of the context, and that's one of the reasons this thing, this whole situation with like the whole Titan transforming thing, like the way people are reacting to the ending, I really wonder if like it's a similar thing where like people just can't grasp the fact that like the series didn't turn out the way they expected it to. In this instance, like people originally thought the entire thing was going to be about humans versus like these bizarre creatures, Titans, but then like realizing that like, oh, the Titans are humans, and then like it turned to something else. Like that's kind of how I kind of feel about it, right? Like it's not what you expected at all, but like that in and of itself makes it so great. The way they're treating Eren at this trial, right, where they're trying to decide whether he is a human or a Titan, right? Like why would you look at Eren and like assume he is a Titan, right? But once you realize that like once you know more about the world and know more about like what society knows about the Titans, like it begins to make a little bit more sense. Like they know about the people in the Titans. Like, okay, so they know more about Titans than like what's being spread to the public. Like the reason they're coming after Eren so hard is that they understand on some level what he is and what that means for their society. So it's not like completely out of nowhere. It's well implemented into the world and really leads into new and interesting things. Things that are quite different, I think, than most other shows like it, most other like series like it. So, a big fan of the trial sequence. Big fan of like the establishment of like the military brass. You have like the cowardly lower guy, and then you have like Pixis, the eccentric like commander of the entire southern border, who has placed himself in charge of the defense of the Trost district and is like working with Eren to try and uncover like a scheme to a ploy to get rid of the Titans. So they establish this like they decide to weaponize Eren's unexpected like abilities to prevent like more Titans from coming in, and then they can just wipe out the ones that have entered the walls. And that kind of leads into this whole sequence where like the whole bit where Eren just loses complete control of the Titans. Like he's just beginning to get the handling of the Titan transformation power, and he doesn't quite know how to use it yet. And he's being forced into this situation where like he has to do like a very specific thing in order to get the Titans to stop, and it doesn't work. Like he completely loses his ability to control like his Titan body and goes berserk, attacks Mikasa, and then ends up like crippling himself. And at this point in the story, the Battle of Trost looks grim. How exactly are they going to get Eren out of this situation? I already know because I've seen the anime, but it is like really compelling, engaging stuff. It's incredibly creative. Really makes you care about like not only the characters but the world as well. Like they do like a really good job like building up like what a threat the Titans are, how terrified people are, how people like legitimately believe that they are going to die, and how they might as well just go back home to their families and then just like wait to die together. But Pixis, like uniting the group, like uniting the military, like saying that like if you may go, you're allowed to go home, but if you do, the Titans are going to come and kill your family. Brilliant stuff. Like really giving these guys like the inspiration they need to like do what needs to be done and sacrifice themselves for the good of humanity against the Titan threat. Great stuff. Again, like the dialogue in this is like riveting, even between like minor characters. They all have like different perspectives and ideas about like what needs to be done and things like that. Like it's fascinating to see like how this develops, how characters like minor characters sort of like stick up for Mikasa, like make Eren's case, like sort of like make their introductions here. And there are like lots of like little minor touches too that I don't think a lot of people have really noticed. Like there's a sequence where like Pixis is like announcing to the public that Eren is a Titan, and then you sort of like pan over characters, and then you get like a shot of like Historia, Ymir, and I think Reiner just sort of like standing there, like just staring there, like looking surprised, which is of course really interesting. You can tell he had like a pretty good idea on like where he wanted the series to go, even at this point. It's not like he made the entire thing up. He established like Krista, I almost said Historia. He established Christoria. He established Krista really early on, and becomes a major character going forward. Yeah, a lot of characters like very early on that you didn't think would be that big of a deal end up becoming like very instrumental to the plot. So I'm really interested in seeing like how this plays out in the manga compared to the anime, because like I said, like at the moment it's pretty similar to the anime. Like the main difference I see is that like the artwork is just beautiful. it really gets across like very picture perfect moments, like Mikasa's like concern for Eren and things like that. Like really great, like really great shocking imagery that I don't think the anime managed to convey as well. I mean, of course, you see the anime in motion. I think the anime is still absolutely worth watching, just to see like these characters move around. It's so cool. But the manga is great too, and I highly recommend it at this stage. And I haven't started reading 4 yet. I actually just brought it up, and I'm curious in seeing what I think of Attack on Titan Volume 4.